A new beginning, let's go. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padre gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, that.
And good day, everybody. Welcome on in. This is May 3rd, 2022 on a Tuesday. The Talking Friars pregame show, Padres and the Cleveland Guardians kicking off later, hopefully kicking off later today at 3:10 p.m. Pacific time, 6:10 in Cleveland. The weather is not great. I don't know if they're going to get the full game in or if they're going to have to play a doubleheader tomorrow. And then that totally throws off the Padres' schedule, because then that means that the Padres, who are supposed to get out of there tomorrow afternoon because they have a day game tomorrow, they'd be getting out later than usual. And so they'd be getting back to San Diego later than usual. But the good news is they have a night game the following night. So it's not like it's back-to-back day games and then they'd be getting in late. So I guess a doubleheader is possible for the Padres side of things. Haven't really looked at it from the Guardians side of things. The Padres enter today 15-8. The Guardians are 10-12. Padres are tied for first record-wise, but the Dodgers are technically in first in the National League West winning percentage-wise. The Cleveland Guardians are in second place in the Central. They are 3.5 games back of, I believe, the Minnesota Twins, who are in first place in the Central there. So that's good to see them doing well. Again, first pitch, like I mentioned, at 3:10. Jesse Aguilar, I don't believe, is on the radio again. I think he should be back when the homestand starts tomorrow or Thursday. So that's good news. He had some family stuff, so we hope everything's well there. So I think it's Scan doing the radio with Tony Gwynn Jr. like they did in Pittsburgh to finish off that series. But the Padres, they're 5-1 so far on the road trip. They have Clevenger and Gore going today and tomorrow. Before they come home for that homestand against the Miami Marlins and then the Chicago Cubs. So two teams that probably are not projected to make the playoffs. So this 15-game stretch that I alluded to pretty much after that Dodger series, I mean, this is time to capitalize for the Padres. And so far they are doing so. You know, they swept the Reds. They didn't lose to them at all the entire season in their season series, those 6 games. They take 2 out of 3 against the Pirates. They probably should have swept them on Saturday's game when Hosmer made that error. Kim tried doing that 360 spin on the double play. Marisnick robbed Grisham of a single with a diving catch that would have made it 6-5 going into the bottom of the ninth instead of 5, with 5 runs for the 5-3, I believe. And then the Pirates ended up tying it with that Chavis home run. So that game was winnable for the Padres there. But I guess I'll take 5-1. Especially, I'll definitely take 7-1 if they can win the next 2 games. I said before this road trip that I would take 6-2. And so that's pretty much what's happening right now. Odds are for me is that they will be 6-2 at the end of this road trip. Wolfpack 1977 says it's supposed to rain tomorrow also in Cleveland. Yeah, I guess I'll take your word for that. I have not looked at the Cleveland weather forecast for tomorrow. Looking at it quickly, yeah, there is some rain there in the forecast for tomorrow. So, I mean, we'll see. They don't play each other again in Cleveland, so I believe the Padres host Cleveland later this year. So if they're going to not make up these games in Cleveland, maybe they agree to have Cleveland just be the home team in San Diego. You know, who knows? But I guess that's a possibility. So before we get to the pitching matchup, bullpen usage, lineups, Padre pick, all the usual stuff, what to watch for, just some Padres news like we always do. Again, my name is Ben Fadden. I hope you subscribe to this YouTube channel for daily pregame shows before every single game, only on this YouTube channel. Episodes, interviews, hopefully every week. I was supposed to have a big guest on today. That didn't work out, so we're trying to reschedule that. So stay tuned for that. But episodes after every series, sometimes during series if big news happens, reaction videos, post-game reaction videos. They're like 60 seconds long, reacting to what happened in a game. But just getting back to some Padre news, the Padres sent down Luis Campusano and Pedro Avila after Sunday's game. Before the day off, they needed to get the roster down from 28 to 26 guys, and they did that with those two moves. Luis Campusano only got 12 at-bats, so I was talking about that on my reaction video that only went up on the YouTube channel, which you can check out on this YouTube channel after this pregame show is done, where I gave my reaction on those two send-downs and Manny Machado being snubbed of the April Player of the Month award. I also had a tweet out there that got a lot of traction about me just stating some facts about Taylor Rogers' numbers compared to Josh Hader. And Josh Hader won the National League Reliever of the Year, or the Reliever of the Month. Some Brewers fans got a little salty. I was just stating facts, and they thought I was making a big deal out of it when I wasn't. I'm making more of a big deal about Manny Machado being snubbed. I didn't react to it in a video of Rogers being snubbed. It was just Manny. That's the one that pissed me off the most. Just numbers wise, he's better than Nolan Arenado so far this season. He was better than him in April. If you look at the numbers, WAR is like the big, full, encompassing stat, and he was better than him offensively, defensively, and in total. He's the National League MVP so far this year, and so for him not to win the April Player of the Month didn't really make much sense to me. But getting back to Campy and Avila was obvious. That was an obvious move, right? He hadn't pitched in actual games, right? The two games that he pitched in were blowouts. They end up sending Ray Kerr down today to make room for Clev. That's also was pretty predictable as well, because Ray Kerr had only thrown one inning, and that game was out of hand on Sunday against the Dodgers a couple weekends ago. 1 week ago. Man, this week's gone. What are we? No, today's Tuesday. So, man, I'm getting my days all messed up here. The 24th, I think, is when Ray Kerr pitched that one game against the Dodgers, and he didn't give up any runs. He didn't do anything to be sent down. It's just a numbers game, and Clev is going to impact the team more than Ray Kerr is just sitting there in the bullpen because Clev is starting today. And we'll get to expectations and all that. The bullpen is now down to 8 arms after sending down Avila and Ray Kerr. Nick Martinez probably will join the bullpen at some point. He is scheduled to start the series opener against Miami on Thursday. So he's not in the bullpen yet, but you'd expect him to be in the bullpen. At least I would. Once Clevenger probably gets ramped up, or maybe not even then, but like maybe they have Chris Matt come in today after Clev, or Stammen. That's another option as well, or both of them. But when like Snell comes back, then definitely I think Martinez would be moved to the bullpen. I talked about my expectations. I'm expecting at least a split in this 2-game set with the Padres and Guardians. Padres would go home with a 6-2 road trip. I said before this road trip that I was good with that. Padres, this series, I mean, the big, headline of this series, at least from our point of view, Padre fans' point of view, is getting to see a bunch of old teammates, right? And maybe that's not a good thing based on former Padres bashing the Padres when they come back to play them. You think Tommy Pham, he just obliterated the Padres, hit 3 home runs off of us in those 6 games that he played against us in that season series versus the Reds. 2 home runs on back-to-back nights in San Diego, hit one that barely got out in Cincinnati, but still a home run. So maybe it's not a good thing that they have to face Cal Quantrill tomorrow, and has like 12 strikeouts written all over it, just the pessimism in me. You got Logan Allen was in their rotation. Josh Naylor, Franmil Reyes, Austin Hedges, Owen Miller, they are all in the Guardians lineup today. Owen Miller is right in the middle of it. He is hitting cleanup and batting .377 so far this year. After last year, having an OPS of 50, which is well below league average. League average is 100 for OPS plus. This year it's 226. So he is totally just slugging right now, doing really, really well for the Guardians. And I guess that's good to see. I mean, it's not like he was at the big league level and we let him get away or anything. Like, this was kind of the cost of doing business in that Clevenger deal, and so the Padres were willing to do that. Same with Naylor, same with Franmil. The DH was years away. And they thought that they were going to get Clevenger for not just 2020, but 2021 as well. They ended up not really getting that. They got Clev for a few starts in 2020. Then he got hurt when he came back early in that game in the NLDS against the Dodgers. Then he didn't even pitch in 2021. And so his contract was supposed to be up after last season, but they extended him for one more year because they were like, hey, we charged a lot for you. It looks like you enjoy this place. Hey, can you at least do us a solid and come back for one more year? We're going to invest in you, and we're going to pay you to not pitch for us in 2021. The least you could do is come and pitch in 2022. And maybe Clev wanted that as well because he wanted to rebuild his free agent market, you know. But Naylor, Franmil, Hedges. Naylor and Franmil, I mean, I'd like to have. Owen Miller, I'd like to have. Hedges, I don't really miss. I mean, the defense is great, but Nola has been playing pretty well this season defensively. He's staying healthy, and Hedges sucked offensively. I don't miss seeing him hit in 8th in the order and batting under 200. I don't miss that. And his long swing, you know, and all those strikeouts, I don't really miss that. So that's pretty much the highlights for the Padres point of things, seeing former players. Clevenger obviously was an Indian, not a Guardian, never was on the Guardians. That name change came in this year. But he was an elite pitcher with the Guardians. Why do you think the Indians, why do you think Cleveland got that much money or that much stuff back in return, you know? I might just, you know what? I'm just going to call them Cleveland probably from now on, so I don't keep calling them the Indians because that gets annoying a little after a while. Because I'm just going to keep calling them the Indians, and it's like, they're the Guardians, Ben. Let's go. They're the Guardians. Let's go through the chat here. We'll get to the pitching matchup. Voit is scheduled to start his rehab in El Paso today. Yep, you are right. I have that a little bit in my what to watch for, so I will get to that in pertains to Matt Beatty. What's the weather like for the game, Lake Max? It's not looking great. At first pitch, I looked at this like a half hour ago. It's supposed to be like a 67% chance of rain at first pitch, so like around 6 o'clock p.m. Cleveland time. So that doesn't look great there. So that's the weather, Lakeum, and supposedly it's supposed to rain a little bit tomorrow as well. So who knows if they're going to have to find a common off day and go back to Cleveland later in the year, or I hope the Guardians come to San Diego this year. That would make sense. And then maybe they have Cleveland just be the home team for a game, and they have a doubleheader then in San Diego when it's guaranteed to pretty much have good weather and not have a rain out. Eric, what's up? Ben, easy picks back at it again. Gaven's not a word. I have not given my picks yet. Gil likes the Spiders name over the Guardians. Well, Guardians is what they went with. Going to the pitching matchup, Mike Clevenger, Zach Plesac today. Mike Clevenger has not appeared in a game, major league game that counted since the 2020 National League Division Series. He had one spring training start on March 29th this year. He allowed 8 runs. Maybe he was a little too amped up, gave up 2 home runs against the Giants there. In 3 rehab starts, 1 was in Lake Elsinore, 2 were in El Paso. And by the way, if you didn't see that story, he almost died as he was trying to fly to El Paso from San Diego, I think. And they made an emergency landing in Arizona, and he got on a plane again and flew to El Paso to get, I think, his final rehab start in. Good for him to be able to get on a plane again. I probably would have just drove, and then being a major leaguer, have the team pay to have someone drive me or give me a rental car, and I drive to El Paso after almost dying on a plane because it almost crashes But good for him. The oxygen mask came down, all of that stuff. So, yikes. Good for him being able to do that. But in 3 rehab starts, he went 8 2/3 innings combined, allowed 2 runs, 8 hits, struck out 15. The goal for him, I think Bob Melvin said might have said in Cincinnati after his final rehab start, was for him to get to 80 pitches around that today. That might change based on what the media gets from Bob Melvin today before the game. But I think Clev got around 67 pitches in his final rehab start. So 80 pitches, that would get him, if he's efficient, 5 innings, something like that. I would think the 4 to 5 inning range is probably what you'd get. And then Chris Matter-Stammen coming in after him because Martinez is still in the rotation. For me with Clevinger, one of my what to watch for him is, well, my main what to watch for. If the Padres lose and Clev comes out of it healthy, that's all I care about. They can win tomorrow's game and still come home 6-2 on the road trip, right? The big thing for me today, having Mike Clevinger be healthy, having him have the big windup, all of that stuff, be healthy, nothing balking with the knee, nothing happening with the knee, nothing happening anywhere. Just come out of it healthy, have a smile on the face, just don't have any wincing, nothing happening, and we'll be good. That's my big what to watch for Mike Clevinger. A couple more what to watch for before I get to Zach Plesac real quick. Naylor, Franmil, Hedges versus the Padres. Like I mentioned, Pham hit 348 with 3 bombs against us. I mentioned that a little bit earlier as well. Didn't mention the average, so I wanted to get that in. Just crushes the Padres, crushed them this year. And then there's a history from Agon to Alexi Amarista to Cameron Maven to Nick Hundley of former Padres playing well against the Padres when they leave them and don a different uniform. So being the pessimism version of Ben, I'm probably going to say Austin Hedges hits a bomb to the Cleveland Rock and Roll Hall of Fame today. But I guess that's Padre fans' luck, right? And then my other what to watch for, Matt Beatty. Is it his last week with the Major League club? Because he's really struggling right now. He's batting 7th. He's DHing today. He's hitting .067. Hasn't got as much playing time as, Profar or other guys like that, but it's not because it's not like he's hitting 300 and not getting the playing time, right? He just hasn't really deserved it based on how he's done, Will it be his last week? Because Voit is beginning a rehab assignment in El Paso. Don't know how long it will be. Don't know how many games. Don't know how many at-bats he needs, or if he just wants a couple games, then come back and face a simulated game at the big league level, or if he's just ready, or he wants to come back, face some velocity machines after facing some real human beings. I don't know. I'm sure, it'd probably be smart for the last few days that he was standing in bullpens or something and just standing there getting some mental reps. I know they have some VR machines and all that can help speed up their rehab process in terms of, or like not rehab process, but like their process or no process thereof, but like just staying in tune with facing pitchers, right? Facing velocity, where you can stand there with the VR headset on and just take pitches or swing at pitches, kind of like how it's a video game. So maybe he's doing that. I heard Fernando do that a little bit as well as he was starting his rehab. He's still rehabbing, by the way. There hasn't been a date on any rehab assignment. He hasn't started swinging yet, as I know. He's been taking some grounders. But will it be Beatty's last week? That's something to watch for. Getting back to Zach Plesac. I keep thinking Dan Plesac, the guy who works for MLB Network, because Zach is related to Dan. Zach got rushed up in his last start. He allowed 6 earned runs, walked 2, gave up a bomb against the Angels, but he only allowed 3 runs in his first 3 starts this season combined. So it seems like that Angels game, just looking at the game logs, not like studying, like watching every start, every pitch that he's thrown, but just looking at the game logs, it does seem like the Angels start last time out was a little bit of an outlier. You hope that it's not an outlier and this is what happens and the Padres offense can rough him up. But it is going to be cold. There's probably going to be some rain, so that doesn't. I would think that the ball isn't going to be jumping off guys' bats, but we still got some strong guys in there. Manny, is at the top of the list of guys that can still hit homers in the cold. He hit that bomb to center field in the Pittsburgh series. They lost that game, but that's one of his 4 home runs so far this year, I believe, is what Manny's at. But that's a little bit on Zach Plesac. I'll show you the bullpen situation here. 1 second. All right, here's the bullpen situation. So there's no Ray Kerr on here. There's no Pedro Avila on here because they were both sent down. But Taylor Rogers, Luis Garcia, Steven Wilson, Robert Suarez, the big 4, I'll say, at the back end of that bullpen right now. They are ready to go, as is everyone else. They've had at least 1 day off. Lamet has not pitched in forever. Chris Matt hasn't pitched in forever. Wilson's had 2 days. Garcia 2 days. Stammen 3 days. Hill had a day off, only had 9 pitches on May 1st, and then had another 2 days off in between the 28th and May 1st. So everyone's ready to go. That's pretty much the bullpen situation. Again, there was an off day yesterday, so there's not a whole lot to discuss with the bullpen situation. The Padres did give Yusmeiro Petit a minor league deal. And the scouting report on him, I'll put the lineup up here so you guys can look at that while I'm talking about Petit. He had an ERA under 4, I believe, last year with the A's. I tweeted this out. Under Bob Melvin. He was under Bob Melvin for the last 4 years in Oakland. He used to pitch for San Francisco. He's not a big strikeout guy, but he doesn't walk guys. So seems like a Craig Stammen, kind of like that. Now you hope that he doesn't pitch as bad as Stammen has, to start the year. Stammen struggled a little bit. I think Stammen's going to, get back to who he is. People say he's washed up and all that. Well, he's been over 30 for a while now, So I don't know how much I buy into that. He's washed. I think it's just a bad start. But we can get to the lineups here. Starting with the Friars, we got Trent leading off. Bob Melvin likes him there. He's had better at-bats in the leadoff hole, so I think he's going to stay there. Cronenworth hitting second, Manny hitting third, Profar fourth, Haas hitting fifth. The regular 1 through 5 combination, it seems it's probably going to be like that for a while, assuming there's no injuries. Ha-Seong Kim at short, Beatty, like I mentioned earlier, hitting seventh, DHing, Nola catching, Clev, and then Trace Thompson in there in right field. I'm glad to see Trace Thompson in there. I think he should get everyday playing time there in the outfield. He's that one game that he played, or that one start that he had. Did he start another game in Pittsburgh other than Friday? I'm not sure if he did. I don't remember. But he came through with 2 RBIs on Friday, so that's good. What I take away is with C.J. Abrams not being in the lineup, he is a lefty, and it's a righty and Zach Plesac on the mound, as you see there. And they're going to keep giving Ha-Seong Kim reps at shortstop because he's hitting better than C.J. Abrams is. Both are pretty good defensively. Kim's better at shortstop, at least now. Abrams, if Tatis was up, Abrams would be in the minor leagues. That's just what it would be. It is pretty obvious that he needs some more time in the minor leagues with at-bats. I think it would be good if he had some reps in the outfield as well, because when Tatis comes back and when he comes around offensively, you're going to want Abrams to be in the lineup still, right, when you come back up. And with Hosmer on the team still, Cronenworth at second, Tatis at short, Manny at third, Abrams in the outfield. You're not going to put Abrams at DH. So if you want at-bats, that's where he's probably going to have to play. So that's the lineup for the Padres. Again, Grisham, Croney, Manny, Profar, Haas, Kim, Beatty, Nola, and then Clay's brother, Trace Thompson. For Cleveland, Miles Straw, Stephen Kwan, who had stuff thrown at him. Or no, that was Straw was the one against the Yankees where he jumped up on the outfield wall and left. Oscar Mercado, I think he's the one that got beers thrown at him by Yankee fans. The umpire did as well. They hit him in the back. I think that was a couple weekends ago. So Mercado is not in the lineup, but Straw leading off. Quan was off to a rocket start to begin the season. He's hitting .340. Jose Ramirez, the Padres had conversations with the Indians about him before that extension came down. Couldn't come to – well, they might have been able to come to an agreement, but the Guardians wanted to get an extension done. If they weren't able to get an extension done, he would have been traded. Owen Miller, former Padre prospect. What a surprise. He's hitting .377, not on the Padres. Josh Naylor hitting over .300, hitting fifth in right field. Ahmed Rosario, the former Met, at short. Fran Mill, the Franamil, DHing, batting seventh. Off to a slow start, but he's got a great smile. Andres Gimenez batting eighth at second base. He's also a former Met prospect. He played in the big leagues a little bit. And then Austin Hedges. Don't miss him hitting, at least. In the ninth spot, hitting .140. What a surprise. He has a stolen base. Look at that. Austin Hedges with the wheels. All right. He's batting ninth. So that's the Guardians lineup, and then the Padres lineup here on the left. What's your favorite Franmil Reyes memory, guys? Let me know in the chat. As we switch back over, to the pregame show here format. We'll get to my Padre pick. So what are you guys' favorite Franmil Reyes memories of him with the Padres? What I remember him for is him singing the I Will Always Love You song or whatever. I think it was with Annie Heilbrunn after the game or something. That stands out. Rome Loves Dan says, sunshine for San Diego today. Hope Clev can control his energy and shove. We need him big time. I mean, yeah, you have Clev on your roster, so yeah, it would help to have him pitch well. Needing him big time, I guess it's good. You don't need him big time right now. The rotation's pitched really well to start this year. They're a big reason why they're off to this start at 15-8. Manaya's pitched well. Musgrove's had quality starts every start. Darvish pitched well so far. He had some clunkers. Martinez has pitched pretty well. I know he got roughed up a little bit, but he's pitched pretty well. Gore has pitched amazing. Struck out 10 in his last start, So they don't need him big time right now. I think that's why they're going to really be careful with him. Even if they needed him, they'd be careful, but even more, they'll be okay if they have to put Chris Matt in there because Chris Matt's played really well as well. He's pitched well this season too. Particularly when Snell got hurt while warming up with his groin, and he came in with 10 minutes notice and threw 3 shutout innings in the first series of the season in Arizona. For Wolfpack 1977 says he thinks Azekar should be the everyday right fielder. He shows hustle. His swing is coming around. You could say the same thing about Trace Thompson, though. Thompson's has 9 home runs this year. I think the Padres want power, and then they're going to use a Zokar in a Manuel Margot type role with a late inning replacement like he was, 2019? His last year here? Padres versus Padres almost is what Wolfpack says. Yep. Yeah. They got 4 say that 5 times in a row, 4 former Padres in the Guardians lineup. Okay, Dan says, big time about Clev, meaning necessary to the Padres if they get where we want them to go. Yeah, I agree. in the playoffs, you need 3 big relievers. Having 4 really helps. Having more in the bullpen certainly helps. So I agree, yeah. I'm not saying that they don't need him, but right now, his health is obviously more important. So if he sucks today, I don't think they're going to care. They care if he stays healthy. Will some overreact about it? Probably, because they expect him to be the Indians' Clev or pitch like he did in that 7-inning shutout in 2020, right? But you got to face the reality. He is coming back from an injury still. And the last time I checked, he's expected to only go like 80 pitches. So it's not like he's at full. It's not like they're like fully, releasing him yet out into the wild. All right, my Padre pick, Eric. This is your favorite segment. Easy pick. Well, is it an easy pick today? I'm going to go Jake Cronenworth. I picked Manny last game. He went 1 for 5, so I'm 15-7 so far this season in my pregame show Padre pick. Today I'm going to go Crony. Jake Cronenworth hitting at the top of the order, right versus left matchup. I'm not picking Manny or like Haas, the 2 best hitters average-wise in the lineup this year. But Cronenworth is coming around, and I think that's gonna be a good pick for me today. Let me know who you guys think will get a hit for the Padres today. And as we do that, I'm going to check Twitter a little bit here to see if there's any updates on anything. Don't see it. Don't see anything. Austin Hedges says he has pure joy facing the Padres. That's already not off to a great start. All right, MLB News and Notes. We got the Mets and Braves. They have a doubleheader today. That's already gotten started. The Mets are up 4-1 in the second. Arizona plays Miami. San Francisco and the Dodgers matchup today. So that's a big matchup. The real rivalry, right, guys? The real rivalry, according to Dodger fans. That gets started a little after 7 o'clock San Diego time. Colorado hosts the Nationals. Colorado's 13-9 so far, above 500. The Yankees have won 10 in a row. Glaber had 3 RBIs last night. Tigers and no one cares. The Tigers and the Pirates got postponed. No one cares about that game. MLB.com, breaking news. They don't know where the Angels are actually located because they said that the LA-New York rivalry heats up with 4-place teams. That's a headline on MLB.com. Alrighty. I guess they don't know that the Angels are not in Los Angeles. They're located in Anaheim. But that's typical MLB, I guess. I guess ESPN said the MLB on one of their headlines today. I saw that on social media. What a surprise. Angels optioned Joe Adell to the minors, one of their top prospects. Might be the top prospect in their farm system. He got off to a little bit of a slow start. So that's your MLB news for today. Dan says, spoiler alert, Quantrill possibly on the hill tomorrow. Yeah, he is scheduled to start tomorrow. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. Probably 12 strikeouts, typical performance against the Padres. Yep, Padres versus Padres kicks off tonight. No, Padres Guardians. That'll do it for the pregame show. I am Ben Fadden, your host. I hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy the game. As always, I'll be clipping highlights and posting those to the Talking Friars Twitter account and the big highlights to the TikTok, to the Instagram, post-game reaction video as always. And we'll see when I can get that guest that I was supposed to have on today. We'll see when I can get that guy on, hopefully sometime soon. But this has been the pregame show for May 3rd, 2022. Padres, Guardians. Padres 15-8 entering tonight. Guardians 10-12. First pitch, 3:10 p.m. Pacific time. We'll see if the weather holds up. Valley Sports San Diego, 97.3 The Fan. Ben Fadden, I'm your host again, signing off. Have a good one, everyone. See ya.